Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
Welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk About Verticals, a place where secrets are spilled, stories unfold, and the mysterious world of verticals is revealed in all its glory. Behind the scenes, oh yes. Exclusive insights, absolutely. Eccentric characters, you bet. So pull up a chair, pour yourself something suspiciously strong, and prepare for a conversation you didn't know you needed. So welcome to the podcast Let's Talk About Verticals. And now, let's talk. Hello and welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk About Verticals. Today, I am very honored because I have the officially called legend of the verticals in my podcast, and I'm very happy to have him. And I say hello to Eric Guilmette. Welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Michaela. Thank you for having me on.
It's in the morning for you. What does a vertical star on a day off? Sleeping long? Or being totally calmed down because of all the pacing on the set?
Well, what are days off? I don't know what you're referring
Okay.
to.
Sorry.
No, if I do actually have time that I am not working on something in the vertical world or on a set filming, usually I am starting my morning pretty casually, like going to the gym, after that having like a nice brunch or lunch, and honestly spending time taking care of myself. You know, it's early January that we're filming this, and it's been nice because the last 2 weeks I'm working on projects, but I haven't had to be on set since, Christmas Eve. And it's been really nice just to kind of focus my attention back to myself and work on things that are just helping my mental state, getting me ready for a successful year, all that stuff.
I saw your December was very full of shooting and full of traveling. Was it your
Yeah.
first time shooting in Australia?
It was my first time filming a production in Australia. I used to live in Australia. I lived there for almost
Oh,
2 years.
okay.
So this was a homecoming for me in a way because I spent so much time in my life there. And I've been back for book cover stuff and modeling things
Mm-hmm.
and just vacation as well. But it was nice to go back and actually film a production in Australia. It was I love Australia. It's just such a great community, and everyone's just so nice, and the food's great, and the vibes are awesome. And we're near beachy areas like Coogee and Bondi, and it's such a great area.
Is it different shooting in Australia than shooting a vertical in the US? Are there some
Uh,
differences?
the irony is like it's different no matter where you are. If you're in LA, you could have one production company that you're working with for one distributor, and it could be a totally different experience than the production that's shooting down the street. So there
Okay.
is such a, I don't want to say a lack of uniformity, but it's really the wild, wild west out there, and you don't know levels of production capabilities, budgets of production, and all that. But filming in Australia was really great just because of the team that we were with was awesome, and the script that we were working on was actually interesting, and so that was a blast, and obviously getting to explore Sydney as much as I could, or re-explore, I could say, while I was there, was great.
Where else have you shot outside of the US?
Last year was a crazy year, 2025. I started the year actually this time last year. I was in Turkey filming with Kelsey Mescal and Grace Swanson. We were filming two projects in Turkey last year. And then I think in February, I shot a project in Mexico with Kira Wisely. By May, we were shooting in Italy with Felix Meribach, Molly Anderson, and Nicole Maddox. And
Dungeons of
then
Ecstasy, was it, right?
Dungeons, yeah, that's when we filmed Dungeons. That was outside the country. And then I went back and filmed part of a horror film in the Czech Republic, in Prague, with Emily Sweet and Dante Iowa, and that was awesome. And then it's not leaving the country, but it does feel like you're leaving the country when you go to Hawaii. And I filmed in Maui with so many people. I don't think I can list the whole cast, but a lot of people.
Yeah,
That was with
I saw the BTS, yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful, and that was with Halogen Cinema, and then finished the year filming with Meg Bush in Sydney, Australia. So I've left the country a lot, to be quite honest.
Did you ever shoot a vertical in China?
No, I like every, I don't want to say every other actor in the space, but I, like most vertical actors, have been offered several times to go, and just for one reason or another, haven't been to China yet. But who knows? Maybe 2026.
2026?
Maybe I'll try it. We'll see. Again, I think one thing that is very interesting about verticals is, like I said, it's so different production to production. And in order to get on a plane and go somewhere, like, you need to know that it's like the right situation and like a really good script and a good team, because that's half of it. Like, you want to have fun with who you're
Yeah.
filming with, and so for me, I just want to make sure that I'm filming with really good, good people. Like, the crew is good, the cast is good, and we're filming something that's also doing something for my soul. I would say most of my travel projects last year, were for my soul. They were really good projects for that reason.
When did you start shooting verticals? And what was the first one you did?
I started technically it would have been the end of June 2023, and that project never even got released. So,
Do you know
yeah,
why?
so we never know why.
Okay.
I just, as the actor, you go, you do your job, and then, you're supposed to go home and not really worry about it after that. And but there's been I think two verticals that I've shot that never saw the light of day. And so but that's actually quite common, the number of things that you'll shoot as an actor that just don't make it to the screen for
As
whatever
long as you
reason.
get paid, so what?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like, you go and you hope that the distribution works out, but that's also a big part of production. Every production has its stages, and some stages are really hard. And, from development to pre-production to production to post-production and distro, those are all various stages that if one thing goes wrong in those stages, it can really derail a project. And so, anyway, so that's when I started that, and then I did my first one that actually came out was. I can't even remember the title, but it was like a werewolf one that we shot. I think it went to Drama Box, if I'm not mistaken, but that was in end of July, August 2023. So it's been a full 2.5 years to this point that I've been in this wacky world.
Crazy world.
It
And
feels
when
like
you
10 years, I'm not gonna lie. With 2.5 years in this space feels like 10 years.
yeah, when you now think back to the first shooting and to your last one, what has changed in this whole shooting stuff?
Everything.
Okay.
The difference between now is like a lot of towards the beginning of it, it was I know it technically wasn't student films. It was run by production companies, but it felt very student films. Like,
Okay.
there was, like, for example, Crafty on set was like a box that had a bunch of chips in them, and that was it, with like some water, and like it wasn't full scale productions. Like, there was like it was bring your own wardrobe type of thing. Like, it was very bare bones. And now where we have like traditional Hollywood film companies producing these, and these are being shot all over the world, and budgets have doubled or tripled, so in some cases quadrupled. And it's like we've really seen the whole evolution of it, for everyone that was kind of there at the beginning. And this is like, I'm not the first person to say this, but a lot of us were told originally that this would be career suicide if we did verticals as an actor. And the irony is, a lot of people that told us that are now either in the space or trying to get into the space in some way, shape, and form. And it's kind of one of those good friendly reminders that every idea is stupid until it's not. So always, like, take an idea with a grain of salt, and don't always pass judgment right away, because you never know what something's going to lead to.
I spoke with Kristine K. Larsen, and she told me she only got into this space because of you. It
Oh
was
God.
your fault.
It was my fault. I did a what would we call it? I guess a thriller. That might even be a stretch of a word. I did a feature film
Uh-huh.
with Kristine K. Larsen and Fabian Arnold and Tower Charlie and a stacked. It was a really great cast that we worked with. It was a big ensemble piece, and that was right after I did my first one that had just come out, and so that
Mm-hmm.
was in 2023. And then I think after that, both of them got into them and started doing them. And yeah, Christine and I worked together like three projects back to back in 2024 and 20, and then again in 2025. And Fabian and I have worked together a bunch now. So it's so funny because again, you never know where everything changes in like a week's time where you'll be, oh, I'm not, I have next week off. And it's like, nope, actually I'm going here to go film a project. It's very last minute still in this space. That's one thing that hasn't changed is sometimes the last minute casting in this space is wild.
Is that sometimes shitty?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't we like to plan and be able to tell our family when we're available to see them and be able to tell a friend when we can go to a concert and, actually plan. But I chose this career and, I knew what I was getting into when I chose this career, that there really is you have to be a little selfish in this career to be able to put your career first and like your family and your friends that love you, like they support that. Like they know what they're getting when they get into it.
What keeps you so addicted to do verticals?
Addicted. That's a great question. I would say, I don't know if I would say addicted. I think I wake up every day and I love getting to be a part of something that's bigger than I am. Getting to be a part of, I would say film and TV, not just necessarily verticals, but getting to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of film and TV, getting to be in front of a camera, getting to have an artistic uh, like draw to something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing is like there's some verticals that you're going to work on as an actor and not just verticals, just films in general that are not necessarily going to be for your soul. The expression is one for the meal and one for the real. So the projects you work on are for your soul. They're for the real. There's some
Mm-hmm.
that you're doing for the meal, but you're still, if you're an actor and you love being in front of the camera, you in that process enjoy getting to go to work every day. And so for me, I can say if I put it simply, I wake up every day and I'm still excited to do what I do. And I have never like really considered it quote unquote work. Like it is a ton of work. It is
Yeah.
double the amount of hours that a normal job would require, if not triple sometimes some weeks. But it is one of those things where I don't ever like of course I have bad days, but I don't like go like,
As
oh,
everyone.
yeah, like I like, oh, I have to go, act today. Like, like tough crap. I could be punching numbers behind a desk
Yeah.
somewhere. So I'm very happy with where I am in life and getting to do this every day. If life changes and I wake up one day and I'm like, I can't do this anymore, then I will reevaluate, but I don't think that moment will come for a very long time or potentially ever.
Yeah, I I started following you. I think it was at the beginning of 2024. And since then, you did a lot of different stuff. You
Yeah.
published a book, you got your own jewelry, you started to go behind the cameras. So there was a lot of, let's call it variety in these 2 years.
Yeah.
How did you started all this? What was the initial thinking, thoughts for doing that?
I'm such a shoot from the hip kind of guy. Like I really am, and I've said this in other interviews, I'm very much malleable and I feel confident in many different situations just instinctually, which is just me being aware of myself. It's not me boasting, it's me just being aware of what I have as like a skill set. And so for me, like for with poetry, for example, I started writing, 6 years ago. And then I decided like a little over a year and a half ago that I was going to publish a book. And I had no idea what publishing was or putting a book together or
I
anything.
know.
Like, and I didn't even know if it was good. I just liked it. And I saw people respond to little things that I posted on social media and then they felt and like connected to it. And I was like, okay, well, worst case, I put a book out there and it gets trashed, but I'd be proud of it. And so, anyways, I got into that for the sake of doing something that was therapy for me. For me, writing has been a therapeutic outlet for me. It helps me make sense of things. It helps me connect with myself, go internal. I ask myself why over and over and over and over. Why am I doing this? Why do I? And so in that, I use the art form of poetry to explore myself a little bit. And that one was probably the most natural thing to do because it's just 100% me. It's not like I have to put on a character. It's not like I have to try and go learn how to produce, learn every aspect of filmmaking and all that. So that one was very natural. Production for me and producing and being behind the camera in that sense that's definitely been a learning process. I think I've learned a lot by trial and error, but I've been given some incredible opportunities that has come about because of this vertical space. And so I'm incredibly thankful because if I think about it like this, I got my first opportunity to produce towards the end of 2024. And that was only a little over a year and a half into me being a full-time actor. Like I had been acting for, 4 years at that point, but I'd been full-time where that was my main source of income, bread and butter. The number of actors that it takes years, decades to get to the point of being able to produce anything is like that's usually the standard. And so I was able to kind of fast track a lot of that because of the vertical space, because of having, success in the space and a fandom and all of that. And it's like, it really allowed me to open the door to look into producing, coming up with IP, stories that were interesting to me, that I got to work with some incredibly talented people and really do things that were for our soul. I mean, most of the producing work is 20 times more hours than anyone would ever imagine. It's 900 meetings, it's 900 hoops to jump through. But the reason why we do it is not because we're like all obsessed with a paycheck we're going to get at the end. It's because we feel fulfilled creating something that is way bigger than life itself. And so that's kind of where that came from. And then I just ran with that. And then jewelry was a really great thing. And now I'm in, we have bracelets now and rings. And you're the first
I
person actually
didn't
seeing
get
this.
any one of them till now.
You gotta.
No,
You gotta.
because the time difference is sometimes so shit.
It's releasing 2 p.m. on Thursday. If this goes up before Thursday, then great. But 2 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday, which for you will be, what is that,
11 in the
11 o'clock
evening.
at night? Yeah. Well, see, that's not horrible. It's not optimal by any means, but you still have to be up just watching a TV show. Um, But yeah, I mean, like that avenue has opened up so much for me. I mean, I love the jewelry aspect. I just did a shoot yesterday with Addison Bowman and Ashley Michelle Grant, and it's so beautiful. And so that's also my roots. My roots were modeling. And so getting to kind of go into even behind that camera now and be in charge of production and creating an image and it's just been such a blast. And so I very much like having my hand in different pots, and one day I lean this way, one day I lean this way, and that's the fun creative like kid in me, is I get to be a kid in like a candy store deciding what I want to focus on every day.
So it was totally easy last year to get Christmas gifts for your family because a book, a jewelry.
Yeah, well, no, what's funny, my family's so supportive, and so like my dad had like 5 copies of the books that he wanted to give to like friends of his, and but my mom wanted some jewelry, and so yeah, it made Christmas a little easier for sure, especially after traveling back to America on Christmas Eve and landing and being like, oh my God, it's Christmas. So
Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, but I said that a few times when I was recording, for example, with Cayman. For me, Christmas needs snow, and you
yeah.
came from the summer in
I came
Australia.
from summer, but I've experienced Christmas there before, so I knew what Christmas was like there. But yeah, you come back and then you're reminded that it's Christmas time here. But Christmas in Australia is so different because I mean, I was on the beach on like the day before Christmas Eve, just getting a tan. So yeah,
Yeah, we have here, it's super frosty and super snowy. We have a lot of snow at the moment. So
yeah,
it's hard to imagine being on Christmas with some shorts and tops on a beach.
And being sweaty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So, when did you start producing, and what were your first experience in it?
I guess I started, it would have been November 2024. And that was when we kind of, technically producing starts before you actually get into production. So I should say maybe it was actually October 2024. And so that was like, us coming up with an idea, and that was Love and Blood was the first production that we actually came up with. And when we made that, like it you really I got a great opportunity to be connected to Purple Light Pictures, and the team there is family to me. And but again, it's so much of like you don't really realize you're doing it until like it's been done, if that makes sense.
Mm.
We did 900 different hats, wore different hats for production in so many different ways. And as a producer, I think, because producer is such a broad term, the main thing you need to be able to do is kind of jump into any of those hats on any given moment and go figure out how to do something. And that's like because it's not like we're dealing with, $1 million projects, or, the budgets never eclipse even close to that. So it's one of those things where it's been a great learning experience for me. And now knowing everything I know, 15, 16 months after starting producing, it's been quite incredible to see where things even are that are being produced in the vertical space, like and chances that companies are taking to change the mold and not just do the same four tropes that have been done in the vertical world over and over and over. Because that's where we evolve, as we get different storylines. That's the important thing, is getting new audiences and getting the current audience to also see things that are different, that make them want to continue watching verticals.
Yeah, I started watching verticals in 2023. And to be honest, from in the end of, oh, so it was summer 2023. My first vertical I saw was like a lot of people saw the classic one, The Double Life of My Billionaire Husband with Jared Harper.
Yeah.
And, since then, now or in the middle of last year, it was kind of repeating in storylines for this, let's say, older audience.
Yeah.
And there were lately so many verticals which dropped, but so many in exactly the same storylines, that we need new storylines. Totally craving to that. But I have the feeling, I'm not sure if it's true, but I have the feeling that a lot of platforms are not willing to take the risk for new stories.
You are correct. The hard thing is this. This is just strictly a business perspective. The companies that are making these same storylines that are repeating, and again, I'm an actor, I get a script
Yeah.
sent to me every day or every other day. That's the same type of script, same trope that has already been done. So I get it sent, and the reason why they're doing that is because they still have the old audience, the audience that's been around for a year or 2 years. But every day they're still acquiring new audiences. And so they're trying to show the audiences what has already been successful. And it's less of a risk to acquire a new audience member who already fits the demographic of those watching verticals than it is to pay a lot more money to try and get either new audience members that are outside of it, that are like interested in horror or action or comedy, or vice versa, take the chance on those scripts, and then having that with the new audience or the old audience, because it's one of those things where it's more cost effective to just try and get the new audience to see what has already been done. And if the current audience of half of them are watching with what's already been done, they'll keep making it. Now, from my personal perspective, I think the only way to evolve the industry is to try new things, is to try and get
Yeah.
thrillers in there, try and get horror in there, or you can have levels of romance, but it can be different tropes. It's not just always the same story. It doesn't have to always be a billionaire. It doesn't have to always
Oh,
be
yes.
the same type of role. Like if I look at like half of my roles that I've played, a lot of them are just identical roles. There's not a whole lot of like prep that can be done outside of, maybe a small nuance that you build within your character, but a lot of them are the same type of thing because that's what is being demanded by the productions. So it's one of those things where that's why I am producing, because I want to innovate the space and I want it to grow and become something that is refreshing for the audience to watch, and also like personally refreshing to act in and create. And that's why we created something like Love and Blood that was a three romance vampire show. And that's why we created Campus Rivals, where we tried to have something that was vertically troped with a love triangle, but also we could bring in cameos from our friends to all join in on the
Yeah,
fun and
that
try
was
and
that was really nice. Yeah.
and try and change the mold. And the other projects that I'm working on producing right now, that's the same type of thing that we're doing. Like we're trying to just push the slate a little bit, and that's the way that you spark change. Is it riskier? Yes, but I think that the company that is the first to do it, 900 companies will go copy you after you've done it if it's been successful. So that's
I'm curious
where
about
we're
the
at.
first pirate vertical who
I think
was who was shot lately
that was shot where?
in
Uh,
Vancouver.
yes, nothing like pirates in the cold Vancouver waters. Um,
For
but
me, it doesn't matter. It's a new genre. You know what I
it's new,
mean?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what the heck?
I think I don't know if it's a pirate one, but I did see Mark Ponarelli. He put on his story and he was walking onto a pirate ship
Yeah, I
the
saw
other
this.
day.
It was today, yesterday? I don't know.
I don't know. All the days blend at this point, but I can't remember when I saw that. But I meant to ask him like, what are you filming?
Yeah, the thing is, as you said, it's not needed that it's 100% a different thing. But as you said, I don't need every time a billionaire. I don't need every time this typical trope with stepmom, stepsister,
Yeah.
kidnapping, whatever. For me, I spoke lately to Brittany from. She's also a fan or audience, and she said that also for her it would be totally fine to do that with a blue collar worker. Some more down to earth stuff like
Yeah.
that, and
On that note, I'll say this because you just sparked a memory for me. I was on a production recently. I won't say which one or where, but I was on
yeah,
a production recently, and it was kind of like a typical, like, there's a billionaire and there's a female that falls for the billionaire, right? But all the references that they kept giving us for the scenes and stuff were from the Notebook. And what we said, like, why don't we flip this for like the next script where we have the man be, this poor, cowboy type of thing, guy works at an auto shop or something,
yeah,
and then the female is this heiress and is wealthy, right? Like she has the power in terms of money, and but she loves him out of true love. They're like, oh, well, that would never work. And we're like, well, you keep giving us the Notebook. That's exactly what the Notebook is. Like the Notebook, the references that you're making are for whatever. So the irony in saying it wouldn't work, the Notebook, I think, is arguably the most successful romance movie ever. And so it's like, it's just one of those things where I think there's just such a one way of thinking kind of mentality that still exists in this space. And we're trying to do everything we can on the actor and producer side to break that mold. And I will say the two of the three projects that I shot to end the year last year were completely different things that have not been done in the vertical world before. The Hawaii project definitely being one of them. That was so outside of the norm of anything that I've seen done before. So I'm really excited for audiences to see that and get to experience something that we all made and thought was phenomenal.
do you see chances for changes in the storylines, for more changes in the storylines?
I think this year will probably, I mean, every year is going to be the biggest evolution because it's a new
Yeah.
year and there's more companies coming in. But I would say this year especially, yeah, I would say, even some of the concepts that we did, so far, like last year, for example, that were innovative and new, they might have been a little too early because audiences might not have been ready for a change, or I could say the industry might have in general not been ready for it. But I would say this year, I think that there's going to be the biggest change in the type of content that's being produced. Even the interactions. I mean, I can't say that many things because I'm a part of so many
Yeah.
things that are going on behind the scenes, but there's one thing that I'm connected to that will absolutely, I guarantee it will change the way that fans, like reviewers, just viewers in general, actors, studios, how all of them interact. And it'll be really exciting to see that come out this year because that's in the works right now. Actually, I have a meeting for it later today.
What are your hopes for 2026 for the vertical space? What are your wishes?
My wishes are we get a little more mainstream. We get away from the tropes that has kind of it is the tropes that got us to where we are, but we don't know if we necessarily need them anymore. So I hope that we move beyond that into a more grounded level of storytelling, a more grounded way of telling stories. And for me, I mean, I said this towards the beginning of last year that my goal by the end of last year was to only work on productions that were, being produced that I was proud of. I want to work with my friends. I want to work on productions with companies that have the integrity to tell stories that need to be told. Because some of these times when you're filming a vertical, you're like, why is this story being told? Do we need to tell this story or has it already been told? Like I want to work on stories that need to be told because of the fact that they're going to do something that hasn't been done before. And so I'll say that's where I want. And I want the fans to feel that too. I want the fans to feel like, we're working extremely hard and they can actually see the quote unquote fruits of our labor to be able to go watch something that they're like, this was awesome. This made me smile. This was, something that needed to be done in the space.
I spoke in an episode to Sandy. She's running a fandom. How did you no, let's say it other way. When this whole vertical blew up in your life, how was it to see that there is such a big community growing also?
It's been like wild in all the best ways because so I'll say this, like when I got into I'm a very passionate person. I think that's quite obvious.
Yes.
But I came from, I was born in New England, so I'm a diehard Red Sox, Patriots, Bruins, Celtics fan. I'm a humongous sports fan, and my passion for it is so strong, right? And going back like 6 years, I got into the romance novel space as a romance novel cover model.
Yeah.
And when I got into doing that, at first, like I knew nothing about that industry. Once I started cover modeling and I found success there, and then I started going to all the conventions, it made sense for me. It is an escape. Romance novels are a way for you as a reader to jump into a new world and put the other things that you have in your life to the side for a minute, or just be a part of something that's bigger than you are. And whatever the case may be, there's 900 ways that you can look at it. But the passion that readers had and authors had and everything, like it was so obvious to me that I fell in love with watching people be passionate about something. And so, and being a part of that said thing. So then when verticals came and then I developed like you said, a fandom, from the viewers and then poetry fans coming in and like you said, Sandy starting my fandom, and then all the other fan pages that have come out
Yeah.
from it, the reviewer pages, all of that. Once I started to see that, what was cool for me is I understood it. I understood where it came from. They are fans of watching something that allows them to escape and allows them to also feel seen within that escapism. And just to be able to actually have a human element to it. One of the things that I think we're missing a lot in society, and that's why I love poetry, is like the human connection thing now is very hard because of the digital medium. And so how do you connect humanly to something that you're so passionate about and you escape doing? You connect to the actor or the creators of said thing. And so, then I've fallen in love with what it feels like to be supported because, obviously anyone could say this, but I truly believe it. I think I have the best fan base in verticals because my fan base, I feel like actually really, really cares about me. And they're not just there to, I'm not throwing shade at any other fan bases. I'm just saying they just really care about me as a person and like in what I'm doing and making sure I'm taking care of myself and that I'm getting rest and I'm not overworking myself and my poetry, which is me, like so many elements. And so I feel very lucky to have the fan base I do, and it continues to grow and evolve. And for me, looking inward, because I have the access to look inward on what's going on in there, it's like we built a community. We built like a neighborhood where everyone kind of checks on each other, and I get to watch like the members of my fan groups and stuff be friends with each other and get each other Christmas presents and care about each other. And it's just such a beautiful thing that I'm like, wow, this really is wild because I know a lot of them have like, actually become in real life friends. And
Yeah.
I mean, what better reflection of you than to be able to know that you were a small microcosm in the effect of a community being built?
You did once a boxer vertical. Was that the only sportive vertical you did?
Isn't that crazy? I think I've done 40 verticals so far. I played hockey, football, and baseball. I played hockey a little bit in college, and that is the only sport vertical was me as a boxer, which is not that's like my like 11th best sport, but yeah, that's my only one so far.
So what would be a dream role in vertical in
No,
2026?
ironically, everyone asks like, "What's your dream role?" Right? And for me, I kind of learned along the way, no one's going to build your dream for you, so might as well just build it yourself. So
That's
I,
smart.
I'm producing several things this year that are my dream roles, and we're actually supposed to be in production for some of them last year, but
Yeah.
again, getting anything produced is extremely difficult, and there's 900 steps to the process. So now me and a few co-producer friends of mine that I've worked alongside for a long time now. Well, it feels like a long time. Some of my friends in the space and colleagues, I feel like I've known them forever, but it really hasn't been that long. But the amount of trust that you develop really quickly for people. So, anyways, those are roles that will be coming later this year, and I think you'll know which ones they are when I'm very passionately yelling it from the rooftops that they're there.
Yeah, isn't it great that you can create your own dream roles and your own stuff?
It's a
You
privilege.
you you are kind of a wish. You can make wishes come true. That's great.
I know. And that's why I say like what other like industry allows for that? If I was just like a Hollywood actor, I would need to have a number one hit on Netflix and then a really good show on HBO Max or something like that to be able to be considered in that capacity, and that's so hard and I don't want to say impossible, but it's very difficult. And so the vertical space has allowed me to open those doors so much and again to work with my friends, travel the world and work on things that I'm proud of. So, yeah, it's
Is
crazy.
there something in your life still you want to try? Something
Yeah.
new or
Oh,
maybe
every day.
total different?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big traveler. I've been to, I think, 42-ish countries in my time on this earth, and my goal is to go everywhere. I want
Do you
to.
have a map where you put in?
I did at one point. I left it in Australia, actually. I had like that really
Oh,
nice map that you like scratch off. I need to
yes.
probably get a new one, but yeah, I really I love getting to go new places, experience new cultures, and for me, half of the quote unquote payment of getting to travel and do what I do is like getting to experience it. And I can't say too much about it, but I have a feature film that I shot middle of last year that is going to be premiering internationally in a couple months, and like we're gonna get to do a little bit of a press tour where we travel around for it, and I'm so excited just to go experience what other places are like that I haven't been to. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw you also want to start this year traveling around for the author stuff doing.
Yeah. So, what's funny is now I'm considered an author, and for most of my time of being in, the literary world, I've been a cover model. So I've been to, I've signed in Australia, I've signed in England,
Yeah.
I've been all over in terms of America as well, like signing. And now, I'm working on something that's called the Ink Collective, and that'll be coming to England in April of this year. And then I am already attached to five other signings across America
Hopefully
and the world.
Germany? Huh? Huh? Huh?
I mean, Germany's pretty close to England, so it's not that far away.
You want to
But
say I should fly over?
yes, I
Nah, I
inspire
got it.
if
Okay.
poetry fans. I urge you to when tickets go on sale, get a ticket and come out because we're creating. I wanted to create a community, like I just talked about, with my quote unquote fan base and stuff. Is I feel like we have a community. And within that, I see how many of them are now writing, and that's like to be able to be again a small inspiration metric for them to be able to start writing. It's so cool. And so for me, I want people that are just inspired by contemporary art and poetry to all be in the same room together and feel the energy of being there because that's a human element. That is something that you can tangibly feel like you're a part of something. And that's what we're doing with the Ink Collective. And we'll be doing that all over the world. But our first event for the Ink Collective will be in London. So yeah.
Do you know the exact date already? When it
It's
will be?
mid-April. We are still locking down a few things, and once we have those things locked down, probably in the next couple weeks, we will actually announce tickets. We will announce times, and yeah, it'll be probably about at least a 3 month notice to be able to go to get it all sorted.
Yeah, I published also a book, but it was a cookbook. So it's a bit different than poem book.
Michaela, I could use that book. I'm not a bad cook, but I'm not a great cook, and I don't even spend time cooking. But I really should probably spend some time doing that this year.
I can send it over to you in the digit, but it's in German. You have to invite Fabian because I recorded with Fabian about his book
Yeah,
last year in January in German. That's a nice one that I can talk to him in German.
I love that. Yeah.
So he can translate it to you and cook that together with you because it's kind of some German meals, and then you can make
He,
cook dates with Fabian.
with Fabian, he can teach me all of those little skills, and Fabian and I have known each other forever. Again, it's so funny how many people in the space outside of the vertical world that are now so fully enthralled in the vertical world, and then a lot of friendships happen, and they're
It's a
like
big
4 months.
family, isn't it?
It's such a crazy grouping of people that are all now connected, and we're all for the most part here in Los Angeles. And we're not all here, but that definitely does feel like the center hub of them.
Yeah, but I think that's great. Eric,
Yeah.
on the end of every episode, I'm asking a 5 question quickie. And the first one is about food. So,
Okay.
what's your favorite dish? When you traveled so many countries, do you have any favorite meal or dish?
Well, isn't it obvious? It's oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Really? Are you kidding me?
I didn't call my book Sex and Oatmeal and not be a fan of oatmeal. I mean, that's one of my favorite comfort foods.
Okay, yeah, okay. But beside oatmeal, are you more the barbecue type? Are you more the steak type, the
Um,
rice type, the Asian type? I don't
I
know.
kind of love it all. I spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, so I love, Asian-inspired dishes like Thai food and Vietnamese food and that. And also, I'm a huge sushi fan, but also I love, I think if I was on death row, my last meal would be like a really properly cooked filet mignon with sweet potatoes and asparagus. So I
Okay,
very much have a very wide
so
open.
so the variety of your countries you visit are in the meal. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Do you have any comfort movie? A movie you rewatched a lot of times because you really like
Oh
it?
yeah. Yeah, I don't even watch many new movies. I just watch a lot of the same movies over and over. I'll say a few of them. Superbad, Wedding Crashers, Miracle, Pineapple Express, what's one more?
That's
Step
a
Brothers.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And
Yeah.
what type of music are you listening?
I was a huge country fan my entire life, but again, I kind of like everything. For me, like Kenny Chesney is kind of a staple for me, but also I love John Mayer and his music. I also listen to, more electronic EDM type of stuff like Rufus Du Sol and also like more like vibey music that's like Trevor Hall and Tosh Sultana. So I'm really all over the place with my movies
You are
and music.
totally flexible in everything you do, right?
Yep. Yep.
Two last questions. First one, if I would start watching verticals now, which one of yours I should definitely watch?
Ooh, of mine, just because I'm proud of it, most as a producer, I'm biased, so I would say Love and Blood, just because it really is just a great story and it's a great performance by, Mariah, Kira, Mark, Yuri, Noemi, like everyone that was a part of that just absolutely crushed every part of it. And we spent a lot of time on making it feel like a movie, not just a vertical. So I would say Love and Blood, but from a story perspective and one that I'm proud of acting wise, The Secret She Couldn't Escape on Viglu is one of my favorite shows that I ever
Was
did.
that this one you were the author?
Yeah, I was the romance novel author,
Yeah.
ironically.
Okay.
So that was a great one. And then everyone, I think my fan base's favorite is You Belong With Me on Real Short, which is, yeah, that was, but again, what I love about that is it's a feel good one. It really like
Yeah.
you feel good about it by the end of it. And it's like, I feel like there's not many of those being made anymore because they're so leaning into the
Totally
crazy,
agree. We need
the
more
crazy
of that
violence
ones.
and but yeah, like
Yeah.
that one, it was so great because you actually got an ending, you felt good about it, like it gave you that warm, fuzzy feeling that a
Yeah.
romance
Yeah.
movie should give you. And then, but I feel like I don't for whatever reason they're trying to make crazy shit now. So who knows?
That's a good expression. Crazy shit. Yeah.
Crazy shit, yeah.
Absolutely with you. Last question. Which genre you want to see more on you in the vertical space this year?
Thriller for sure. I want like kind of a true crime feel. I want I want like the viewer to be kind of having to pay attention for like small little clues and visual clues. I think one thing that drives me crazy about verticals is they always want us to like narrate the movie as we're going and like for example, instead of me being angry, they'll want me to say that I'm angry and I'm like I want the viewer to really have to quote unquote pay attention. I think that this has become a little bit more sophisticated than just trying to just watch while you're doing the dishes. I want the viewer to have to lean in and see things that if they don't see it, they're going to miss it, and then the story's not going to make sense. And ironically, again, I'm not sure if you've seen The Secret She Couldn't Escape, but if you see that one, like that one is you really have to pay attention all the way to the end. Otherwise, you're going to be like, wait, what just happened? And
Yeah.
that's storytelling. That's good storytelling.
Yeah, that's right. So there's still hope for 2026, you want to say?
Yes,
I'm
there's a
my hopes are on you, Eric, because
thanks.
you can make wishes come true. So maybe
I'm
maybe
trying. I'm not a full-time genie, but maybe I'll become a full-time genie this year. We'll see.
yeah, and then you win a big lottery jackpot with a big type of money, and then you are totally free in producing and filming.
Hey, you spoke it into fruition. Let's make it happen.
I will check on that. Okay. Otherwise, if I will win the lottery, I will contact you. Okay.
Perfect. You can fund really good verticals after that.
So let's do it. Eric, thank you so much for your time and talking to me. I appreciate it. And I wish you all the best for 2026 and a lot of new stuff you are doing. I'm sure there will be something totally new in this year, but I love that. I love that creativity. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Send you a lot of greetings to the US and thanks for talking to me, Eric. Bye.
awesome. Thanks, Michaela. Appreciate it.
This is a wrap on this episode, and I hope you tune in again.